Today I'm going to be talking about cryptography, which is used often today mostly in security, like securing credit card numbers and information online, stuff like that. Cryptography is basically the art of writing and solving secret codes. The earliest known form of cryptography was about 4,000 years ago in Egypt, where the tomb inscriptions of a nobleman were written with some unusual symbols to confuse the meaning of the writing. The Spartans also used some cryptography, and they used something called a skytale. I forgot a picture. That was in the brain. But it's basically a cylinder with a string of paper wrapped around it, and the message would be written across the cylinder horizontally, and when the message had multiple lines, once the paper was unwrapped, it would just look like a string of random letters until it was wound up on a skytale with the same diameter. So this kind of cipher is called a transposition cipher, where the letters stay the same, but the order of them is mixed up. The cipher is like basically a code. Another kind of cipher is the substitution cipher, where each letter is replaced with another one. An example would be the Caesar cipher, where each letter is replaced with the one that's 3 positions to the right. So A equals B, F equals I, etc. Cryptography is very important in war so that nobody intercepts our messages and knows our plans. Most of it's done with computers now, but this wasn't always so. A lot was done manually up through World War II. World War II had a lot of interesting cryptography, and many codes were written and broken. An example is with the Enigma and Ultra. The Enigma was a German cipher machine. It worked like a typewriter, except the message that came out was coded. The Enigma was considered very secure, so the Germans didn't consider it a really big deal if one of these machines were captured by the Allies, because it was so secure. The key was changed once or twice a day. The cipher key is a sequence of symbols that the user must possess in order to use the system. The Allies called decoded Enigma messages Ultra. Then they created machines called Bombies to test out many different combinations of symbols and try to find the cipher key to the Enigma. Decoding the Enigma eventually became easier, but we took great care to be sure that the Germans never found out that Enigma wasn't secure. Enigma codes were eventually cracked really easily, and the Germans never found out until very late in the war. Another cool bit of cryptography in World War II was the Navajo code talkers. The military needed a code that the enemy couldn't decipher. So Philip Johnston came up with the idea to use the Navajo language, since it was unwritten and really complex. Also, only about 30 people that were not Navajo knew it, and they were all in the USA. The Navajo agreed to help translate, and in 1942, 29 Navajo attended boot camp. They developed a dictionary with military terms, and they memorized these in training. When a Navajo completed his training, he was sent off to a military or marine unit to be deployed in the Pacific Theater. Code talkers were really helpful and 90 times faster than the machines at the time. So this was really helpful in battles where they needed to send messages back and forth really quickly. One battle, a team of 6 Navajo sent over 800 messages without any error in the course of 2 days, which was incredible. Over the years, many different forms of cryptography have been used, all with the same purpose: to send and receive messages in secret. Various forms have been used, such as steganography, which is the art of sending messages in secret so nobody even suspects they were there in the first place. And many codes have been written. Code that you've probably all heard of is Morse code. This is made up of dots and dashes, which can be lights, sounds, or can be written on paper. A dash is 3 times as long as a dot, and combinations of dots and dashes make letters and numbers. A, for example, is one dot. One dot equals E, while a dot followed by a dash equals A. Letters of a word are separated by a space of one dash, and different dots and dashes are separated by a space of one dot. Different words are separated by a space or silence of 7 dots. Cryptography today is used all the time to secure credit card numbers, phone calls, and texts. All data that goes in and out of your computer every time you use it is encrypted. There are also apps that encode phone calls and texts in case they're ever intercepted. Cryptography helped with many things so far and hopefully will be even more helpful in the future. Thank you for listening.